Hey everyone, Sal Crispo here from V10 Health. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the difference between being ego-driven and soul-driven. Now, I can't emphasize the importance of this subject. I mean, it really was one of the key factors that led to me healing, my 20-year struggle with depression. And yeah, I mean, I really went from, living in hell to living a life full of inner peace, inner joy, love. And now I can express these things fully, and I do, and I share them with others, right? That's why I'm doing these videos. The thing with this subject is it's quite complex, and I figured out a way to simplify it. I usually try to take complex subjects and make them very clear for people to understand so that they can learn and use them in their own lives and better their lives. And one of the ways I've done that with this subject is I created a 3-player team made up of the body, mind, and spirit. And it really is the basis of the V10 Health program. It's holistic in nature. What it is you're making sure that all 3 of these players are in tip-top shape and they're performing at a high level, because this is it. This is your performance team. It's the team that's going to make you live your life to the fullest, right? And what happens when you neglect any of these players, right? It's literally like you're playing the game of life down a player or down 2 players. You're shorthanded. And another problem is when people don't understand the role of each of these players and they try to put them in the wrong position. That creates chaos and dysfunction, and the team again doesn't perform at a level where you can lead a life that you want to live, right? And let's look at all 3 of these players. The first player is the body. The body is the workhorse, right? It's the player that gets everything done. It's really the home. It's the vehicle of expression for the mind and the soul. The mind, or the ego, is the star player. It's the one who thinks and calculates and strategizes. It figures out how to get things done, how to use the body to get things done, right? And the soul is the captain of the ship. And the captain is the one that, it's your heart center. So it knows what you want. It feels. It's the one that says, oh yeah, I really, really want that. That's one of my soul or heart's desires. And when the heart is the captain, it guides the mind and it says, this is what I want. Now think of a plan and how to do it. And then the mind says to the body, hey, this is what we're doing now, get to it. And that's really the way you're supposed to integrate all 3 and make sure that they're all on the same page and they know their role, and you'll get things done. However, when you're ego-driven, the mind, just pushes aside the captain of the ship, right? Pushes aside your soul, and it starts to, dominate. It becomes the dominant force, and what ends up happening is that usually leads to chaos, because the mind, without the leadership and guidance of the soul, is blind and lost. So an example of this is with me, right? When I was depressed, I was ego-driven. I was listening to my mind, because my mind was saying, oh, you'll be happy when you go after this thing. You'll be happy when you succeed here. Oh, maybe you'll be happy when, whatever it is, you win this or you accomplish that, or, whatever it is, it always would lead you to something, right? Or you need to party more and drink more. It could be negative stuff, it could be positive stuff. It's trying to figure out a way to make you happy, but doesn't understand that the only real way that's going to happen is if you reorganize the team, right? Because you're not living from your heart. Anytime you put the heart or the captain on the bench, what's going to happen is you're going to suffer, because you really are selling your soul for things that the mind is thinking that is what you want, and it's often not. An example of this would be, I use this a lot, is one of my favorite tennis players is Roger Federer. And Roger Federer is an exceptional athlete, obviously, and he had the opportunity to either become a tennis player or a soccer player. And, he chose to become a tennis player because he loved it more, right? And you may think, well, yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't he? If you enjoy tennis more, why wouldn't he? It's sort of a no-brainer. But it doesn't work that way. So I'm sure that there was a decision to be made, because what the mind does, the ego does, is it starts to calculate and think things through, and it'll say stuff like, well, there's more money to be made in soccer. Oh, there's, more fame in soccer, or whatever it is. It's always like trying to figure out what's best from, more of a numerical standpoint, right? Again, it's cold and calculative. It doesn't really look at, what do I really want? Like, what does the heart want? It doesn't care what you feel, right? It's just designed to think, right? And that's the problem when it's the captain of the ship. It's making decisions based on, what looks the shiniest, right? Or what looks the biggest and best. It's not necessarily what's the best for you or for your heart, your soul. And yeah, so fortunately, Roger Federer chose to become a tennis player, and he ended up getting both anyways. He was very successful, and he became one of the greatest tennis players of all time and most famous athletes of all time. So anyways, the point is that when you lead with your heart, you will basically live a life that you're truly content with, right? You're not just chasing the shiny objects, I call them, just because you think, that's what's going to make me happy, because everybody else says that's what's going to make you happy, right? It could be the shiny new Ferrari. It could be the, multi-million-dollar mansion. I don't know what it is, but once you realize that all that stuff is not necessarily going to make you happy, not what's the end all and be all, that really what's going to make you happy is the following your heart and making sure that that team is all functioning and running well, then yeah, that's what's going to lead to holistic success and performing at a high level. So it doesn't mean you can't go after those things, but it just means you're not going to sacrifice what your heart truly wants to get them. I hope that makes sense for you. Hope this video's helped. That really is the message for today. It's up to you what you want to choose. You could choose to be ego driven. If you feel those shiny objects are enough, then yeah, continue to go after those and until I guess they don't really fulfill you anymore. But instead, if you've come to the point where you've realized, I'm chasing these shiny objects, and every time I attain them, I always feel like it's not enough. So I have this thirst for more, and I feel like I'm just part of this vicious cycle. And you know, you're looking for something much more meaningful, much deeper. Then you want to start thinking about reorganizing your performance team, and yeah, start leading with your heart, and hopefully you get what your heart desires. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.